In summary, given the prosecution's inability to prove that Balagtas enjoyed the higher degree of confidence of Visatech, her conviction for the crime of theft cannot be aggravated to qualified theft. The failure to establish this element renders the prosecution's case insufficient to justify a more severe penalty. Even if a relationship of confidence had been established, which it was not, the prosecution's failure to separately prove the gravity of Balagtas's exploitation of this trust would similarly render the conviction for qualified theft tenuous. It bears emphasizing that, in Maglaya, Homal, and Batislayan, this court consistently held that an employee taking advantage of one's position to commit theft does not inevitably result in a finding of grave abuse of confidence. Without more, this may at best lead only to establishing the generic aggravating circumstance of abuse of confidence. On this point, Homal also teaches that when the gravity of exploitation of trust is not proven, and only the fact of taking advantage of one's position to commit theft is established, the crime is only simple theft, and the abuse of confidence shall be treated as a generic aggravating circumstance. At most, the abuse of confidence shall be considered as a generic aggravating circumstance, since the gravity of exploitation of trust was not proven. Indeed, abuse of confidence is inherent in qualified theft, but not in simple theft, since the circumstance is not included in the definition of the crime. Under Article 14 of the RPC, abuse of confidence exists only when the offended party has trusted the offender who later abuses such trust by committing the crime. The abuse of confidence must be a means of facilitating the commission of the crime, the culprit taking advantage of the offended party's belief that the former would not abuse said confidence. The confidence between the offender and the offended party must be immediate and personal. Here, the prosecution established that Visatech's weekly payroll varies due to the nature of its business. Despite these fluctuations, employee salaries must also always be disbursed on time. Thus, to ensure that the fictitious entries would be approved, Balagtas took advantage of the business's vulnerabilities and the time-sensitive nature of the payroll process. However, in the absence of proof demonstrating both a higher degree of confidence between Balagtas and Visatech and the extent of exploitation of that confidence, these acts may only be appreciated as a generic aggravating circumstance of abuse of confidence.